Steve, what do you see leading into and out of the two-day Fed meeting?
Markets have been looking to the September Fed meeting for quite some time as yet another benchmark along the way of whether the Fed would continue to raise rates or not. The reasons for that are, we're starting to see some inflation come into the labor numbers, and that was really the piece of the puzzle that had been missing. We'd managed to have growth without inflation, which is, in many ways remarkable. Talk about Goldilocks markets. That's one of the Goldilocks scenario to the max, so to speak. But now we're starting to see a little bit of labor cost inflation creep in, and I think the Fed is going to be very sensitive to that, especially as we're seeing things like copper trading at 2-month highs and oil trading at, flirting with highs that it hasn't seen in a while. And so that's the kind of stuff that gets their attention. So the question becomes not only do they raise on this current meeting, and what do they say going forward? Part of the other reason for this is I think the feeling is that with the next meeting in about 6 weeks, right around election time, and the belief is that the Fed, unless there's a real emergency one way or the other, would be unlikely to move so close to a major midterm election. So it's really now until December is the timing on the monetary policy front. So what I see is I think there's a general expectation that the Fed raises rates another 0.25%, 25 basis points. I don't think the market reacts negatively to that, although we have seen in the past, let's say, a tendency for the buy the rumor, sell the news type of scenario. And going forward, I think we have to start to wonder, when do interest rates start to provide competition for equities? Right now, over the past few months, we've seen a change. For years, the S&P was yielding more than short-term fixed income. That's flipped on its head, not necessarily in a meaningful way, certainly not enough to derail the rally that we've been seeing, but that trend is only going to continue if the Fed raises rates. So these are the things to watch for. I would not expect too much fireworks, unless the Fed does or says something really unexpected. And as usual, I think we'll be watching and waiting and seeing what the press release and what the press release says and how the market takes it thereafter.